So I guess, as timestamps exist so you can skip forward, the main point of this video is that we got raffle time, and if you don't know what that is, that's an event that every girl runs into in which you can get several things, and in my case, I got the hot spring ticket, so, well, here's hoping that I can get into, win URA Finals, but I don't feel too confident about it, but, well, that's what this video is here for no other reason than for fun. Also, I did a Super Creek video, and that video is never coming out, so instead, again, if you hear this happened in the other game I'm recording as well, around the time of videos that upload around this time, the same time as this upload, will have the same kind of audio issues. In that case, or not audio issues, but essentially I'm wearing clothes that are very loud, essentially, and there's a specific reason I'm doing so, but I'm not going to say why. So, as we sit here, I think we're just going to try to go bare minimum here. So 300 guts, if I can push wits to 350, that's fine. 400, I usually like to push wits to at least near 400 or at 400, but because we're trying to now win URA Finals, we're going to clock. We're definitely going to max clock here. And then we're going to do our best. We actually got Swinging Maestro a bit late, but hey, and normally I like to force long races, although I did, I think, 2 races outside of the goals, so hopefully we get a long URA. Otherwise, I'm going to be a bit sad. So as we sit here, what I was actually trying to get into was that, yeah, I did a Super Creek recording, and that was never coming out. So instead, if I can remember what I talked about during that recording, I'll talk about it here now, because I wanted to mention a few things, especially things that I was looking into that I may need to correct myself for saying things earlier, and at least things that have happened in my comment section that I've glanced around now. It's harder for me to glance around the comment section if for no other reason than basically at the time of this recording, and probably when this video comes out too, if it happens within 24, if I upload this video within 24 hours of this recording, then yeah, just know that things are happening to me in real life. It's nothing serious, I just need to take care of things. So if you don't see Musume videos from me for relative to this video for a while, then yeah, that's the reason why. Also, I would like to increase power, but there's no point, so I'd rather take the Tazuna buff. Less energy, I think a little bit more effectiveness. Either way, there are 2 bonds there, so I want to use it. But I was also taking notes to the side, at least for my gold chip runs, to try and basically note, because I did want to come out with funny enough, a gold chip guide video, if that makes any sense. Not that there's really a specific guide, and it depends on what you have card-wise, but just, if nothing else, because even though your sport cards do play a large effect, I did want to also emphasize essentially the stat distribution that you want to be at playing with gold chip. But again, even that can change depending on if you make gold chip even just a late style, but I've seen Pace Chaser gold chips as well. And don't I have a video of gold Pace Chaser gold chip? If nothing else, if nowhere else that I displayed it somewhere. But you get the point. Those can change how your stat distribution may look. But if you're putting gold chip in long races or even medium races, usually your distribution will be somewhere along the lines of a bit more stamina. If you're on long races, a lot more stamina, and then power speed in that order. So, keeping in mind, we're about to get to summer training, but because we're doing Golshi stuff, this would be nice. 34, 32. We'll take the wits here. Yeah, we'll take the wits here. I shouldn't have done this. I should have taken the speed, but now I'm going to live with it. If you have 500 stats, you should be good for everything but the URA Finals. But if your guts and or wits are too high and you have like 300 speed at this point, it can get a bit iffy. But I think if you have a lot of power, it can be okay. But usually you want speed to be high regardless, so actually that's not true either. So I would like guts to be higher as well, but for the sake of our stamina here, and to get concentration, and to do Tazuna things, we'll do Tazuna instead. So I could take the energy here. I think I'm just going to take the stats instead. Because normally you would get energy there, but if we're going to just do this, then we should be okay. Because then we'll race next turn, and then get to summer training. And I think, I think 500 speed, stamina, and power should, well, we have 400 power, but you get the point. We should have enough to survive this race, although we do need to place first, so never mind. But don't need to look at any races but the URA Finals, essentially. Especially since we're trying to hot spring this one now. So, this is going to be an important run for me. And we're going to use all 3 clocks. Granted, I would probably still get RNG'd anyway. I wasn't planning to clock until I drew the hot spring. This is what I meant. If I didn't mention it in an earlier video, I may have mentioned it in my Lost Super Creek recording. That's probably the last time I should talk about that. But when good things happen in your run, you want to clock. If you get RNG'd, you want to clock. You know you're getting RNG'd. The most basic way to tell is if you... And I know that this isn't the most satisfactory example. I guess we'll do wits here. Satisfactory example, but say your judge prediction is all double circles, and then you somehow get 3rd place or 4th place, or basically you failed a goal, clock. You really want to clock, in my opinion anyway. You could not do so, but if the clock gets you to URA champ, that is basically that's the simplest way to explain when to use a clock. Oh my goodness, stamina left, right, and center, but we'll take it. We do need our stamina up anyway. We have Swinging Maestro, but you never know for sure, right? Without Swinging Maestro, though, I have failed gold chip no clock gold chip runs with about 5. Pretty much the same amount of stamina I have here, I failed before. We'll take power, by the way. Was that power? Yeah. I got power and speed and wits, but all I know is smashing watermelons is good for power with gold chip. Let's do our last Tazna here. If for no other reason than to maybe get concentration. And yeah, you would think that I have my mic audio to... I have some kind of noise gate on my mic, but even with the noise gate, you're going to catch me rustling my clothes. So, I should really pick up power here. Yeah, I'm going to pick up power. I'm going to hope I'm on the URA Finals. My URA Finals are all long races. I did do 2 long races, and I was kind of also testing how many long races I need to do outside of the goal races. GOAL space races, but we'll see. Oh goodness, give me this, by the way. For me, 50 plus stats in a training is a lot, but when you start stacking 3 or even 3, but sometimes 4, oh my goodness, my mood, please, gold chip. Especially when you stack 4, it's not absurd to see 80 plus, 90 plus stat with the substat also increasing by like 30, 40, but again, it depends on what you want. I really should take skills just to be safe here, but I guess I'll just take focus instead. When I say skills, I mean the other white skills, not trying to build into concentration. But I don't deny if someone says, Jordan, you're running gold chip with the end style, I will say, yeah, sure, and then you took concentration, Jordan. Why would you do that? It seems like a waste. Just in case we have any more people running the end, let me just like end closer strat. That way we're not behind any other end closers when we bust out of the gate. Also puts us in a better position, if nothing else. I mean, objectively, I believe anyway, in my opinion, I believe that when you use concentration, it helps you no matter where. I won't deny, though, it helps front runners the most, because when front runners get stuck, you lose a lot more being a front runner, getting a late start and not having concentration help you out as much, because you could get stuck behind other Musume and your speed is useless. So, I used all my Tazanas. We'll do this for the mood. I don't believe... Usually when you're running Tazna, you get mood increases aside from that. The claw machine is nice as well, but I think the most important part here is getting the mood. Also, I don't have the recording, but I did lose 3 times in a row, even though I picked up the doll. I don't know if being in the direct middle helps a lot more, but I feel like I was close enough where it didn't matter, so... Maybe it'll happen during this recording as well. And literally, this can happen. You can drop all 3 quickly in your first normal speed pickup, by the way. That was the exact crane game in which I dropped all 3, even though I picked them all up. So it is possible to fail even though you picked them all up in the center. It's probably not very likely, but it can happen. And so I'm telling you right now, it's hearsay because I don't have the recording. I'm telling you it can happen. Also, isn't there a huge one somewhere? Really? No? Well, we'll try to pick up the one in the center. I'm not too accustomed to picking up upside down Gurumis, Nui Gurumis. Nui Gurumis? Oh, I'm going crazy. And I think you need at least 1 big doll with 3 to 4 prizes to get a huge win. But I'll take the win anyway. At least when you lose, you shouldn't... Nothing negative should happen. You do get guts as well. But... yeah, you get straightaway recovery. Otherwise, we don't need it. So we're probably just going to take the stamina here instead. Yeah. And we should be good to get to URA Finals. Although our power is a bit low. So if possibly force power. Now at this point you might be asking, Jordan, why don't you have a power SSR or SR card? Well, I don't have a power SR or SSR card myself, so that's part of the problem. But the other side of that, and trust me, even the rare cards I've been using, that's why I failed so many of my runs, because I was testing out whether or not I could run my even 25 level power card. I think I have a... Was it Hishi Amazon? It was one of them, but it was a rare strength card that I uncapped once, and that's not enough. It can supplement, but because I need a lot more power, if I'm gonna be increasing power by just as much, I might as well just use speed training to increase my power. Now that's not what you should rely on, but it's the best I have. And if nothing else to take away from this video, it's that running other types of cards can help you build the stat that you need as well. You don't need to bring, in my case, a level 25 rare strength card. If you have the speed cards, especially an uncapped one, even though this is the free-to-play one, to increase strength yourself. But, as we lose here, oh my goodness, my clocks. I didn't want to clock there, but hey. Also note that I don't have a guest legacy, which would have helped me out, but I didn't know I was going to draw a hot spring ticket in this one as well, and I did get unlucky. But it wasn't that unlucky, because, yeah, we're not actually at our stat requirements to reliably win Arima Kinen here, in my opinion, at least. But according to the game's judge methods as well, I was not at stat requirement. So, as we get into URA Finals, again, I pause and go silent there just for the sake of timestamps. But we're just going to force power. We're going to force power increases here. We need to. We don't have enough power at the moment, and if bad things happen, if you get stuck behind a lot of girls, we will lose here. We do have long races, so the stamina plus swinging maestro will help. Otherwise, the only other thing to do would... Yeah, we don't have a green power skill. That would have been nice. I think that would be a determining factor here. We're not running late surger gold ship, although I think we can. I think we have A aptitude, but and we need less power if I did run late, I believe, but otherwise, we'll see. I could take one of those, but I'm not, so let's find out what happens. We're gonna skip everything up until the finals. That's kind of how I'm doing these videos, but I really need to get to Hot Spring, so we should win at least this one. The semifinals might be a little iffy. If my stats were a bit higher, I would not feel pressured by the semifinals either. But because our stats are a bit low, particularly guts and wits, even though people say to ignore guts, you do want some guts. I'm a bit over the minimums I've said, but still, we're gonna increase power here. We're just gonna make sure we should have enough speed. We definitely have enough stamina with these skills. And let's take a look. Rain, heavy, winter. Oh, and then right hand. I should probably take standard distance, unless every long race is 300,000 meters. If that's the case, no. But this one's only 2,500 meters, which actually hurts me, because I have more... Now, my stamina stat value is more dead stats than anything, and the predictions show. But thankfully we won. How much do we win by? Okay, 3/4 of a length. That's not bad. Again, you can't really tell, but as long as it's not usually nose or neck, I think that's more an indicator. And so now, I need to oh, no, I don't need to gamma, never mind. If nothing else to take away, aside from what I said earlier, the second thing to take away is that if your gold ship has 600, 600, 600 on speed, stamina, and power, and then she has 300 guts and 350 wits, you definitely can win the URA Finals, although you might have to clock here and there, as you saw me do. So, but the extra power that I'm missing, I think, does make a difference here. Definitely if it's 50 power for this purposes of the URA scenario. So, let's take a look here. 3,000 meters, right. So, because we are working on a right side, maybe one of these yellow skills helps out as well. Maybe I should take these instead. One of these. Passing another leather. Yeah, we'll take a long... I'm building this gold ship for long races, even though I should be built... Well, we have a gold ship built for the legend race. Never mind, I lied to myself. Can I take a green skill as well, by any chance? I can. I forgot what exactly that means. I want to say that's just speed, but if it's power as well, that would help out immensely. Otherwise, I've done what I can, and everything is up to fate. Again, I want to say it again until I'm wrong or get corrected, but I'm pretty sure the favorite/predictions here do not account for your skills. I feel more confident saying that because I've been at like 500, 450 stamina here with Swinging Maestro, and I assume what the game thinks is you don't have enough stamina. Said that I did not have enough stamina, but I did, so. Specifically, I'm thinking the middle prediction has to do with your stamina and or guts. So left to right, it has to do with the beginning, middle, and end, and the middle usually looks at stamina. That's my little speculation. I didn't look into anyone's sources. That's literally just me with my eye guessing. But as we start this here, again, we're running I keep forgetting the name. End style gold ship here, so that scares me a bit because our power is lower than I expect. Again, I preferably want 600 power minimum, but we gotta work with what I got. That being said, I'm a bit more scared, or I'm a lot more scared, because I've been in the same exact situation with gold ships like this and not won URA Finals. And basically, to say it another way, basically the gold ship you see in the Legend Race, a little behind the scenes here, the gold ship that you saw me using in the Day 2 of my Legend Race video is a gold ship, if you didn't already see it, that has a Guest Legacy. And that Guest Legacy gave me, I think, 60 to 70 speed per inspiration event, which is a lot. For me, anyway. When you get better inspirations all set up, you'll be getting over 120-ish. I don't know if you can get literally hundreds. I completely forgot. But essentially, yeah, that gold ship was raised better because of the guests. Keeping in mind that guest borrows are limited per day, guest girls, but you might as well use them to level up or to train better girls. That can also help you make your own inspirations, because obviously if you get 210 speed overall, you have a, I'll bet, not as high, not a lot, big, huge chance or higher chance to get a 3-star speed inspiration, but definitely, I mean, it doesn't hurt your odds, especially if you're just trying to get URA champions over and over and over and over again. So, I like being on the outside here, so that I already like seeing. But, as for whether or not we'll get first, still up in the air. So, again, power is going to be the main thing here, passing Tokai Teo, that's right in front of us, and also having enough acceleration through the power stat to get forward. Speed, we should have more than enough speed. It's whether or not the power brings us up to first. So, I do like that acceleration already, the fact that we're already passing up to fourth, but simply Rudolph breaking out alone is a bit scary. So yeah, okay, we look good. If I were to put money down right now, I would say that we win, but you never know. I think we have one more skill we can proc, but if we proc similarly Rudolph's there, maybe we're okay? Don't lose your place. Okay, good. Hey, we won. Time for Hot Springs. And we're going to slow down for this. So yeah, if nothing else, we will at least set the game to auto. And hey, if this video never comes out for whatever reason, oh my goodness, I stumbled because I was trying to say something else. Then I have a Hot Spring video, Hot Spring Gold Ship for myself. So, I mean, we don't have to stop here, but we might as well just savor the moment, because if this video is for some reason my last Musume video for whatever reason, that would be really, really weird. But yeah, I don't want to hit skip again because I could accidentally lose the thing. If nothing else, a little quick tip for myself, if for no one else. If I move my mouse over to the right, or just set my erases to vertical, I have better thumbnail pictures. If you didn't already know. So basically how I'm making my thumbnails is I'm taking parts of my own recording and using them, if that wasn't already apparent. It's not very likely that I use something outside of the recording. Whether it's a recording that I do elsewhere that never gets uploaded or otherwise. But yeah, not really much else to say here. We're just sitting here waiting for Hot Spring, and that'll probably be the end of the video. If nothing else, I can go over a few other things like the Guts comments. So people were wondering about Guts for me here and there. Still, though, you'll have trainers saying to ignore Guts, and they are valid to say that. At least at this current point in time in global server, Guts does not play as much of a factor. You still want it, and if you... Obviously, if you have nothing else to dump your stats into after speed, stamina, and power, and by that I mean you literally have 1200 in all of those stats, you might as well pour them into guts and wits. Wits first, then guts. Because if we use an extreme example here, two girls that have tied stats everywhere, but one has higher guts and one has lower, the one with higher guts probably has a better chance to win. Now, how much more likely are they to win in a race? I would say a lot more, but I wouldn't really argue if someone said, no, it actually doesn't affect it that much. That's how much I am speculating as well. But I only say that because my own, I guess, subjective proof is that when I don't have it, when I enter the URA Finals, particularly with, say, 250 guts, I notice the drop of speed at the end. And yeah, you could say you need more stamina, and I don't deny that. In fact, that is literally, I think, I would agree that having more stamina instead of guts would help out. But guts also does other stuff. Like if your guts is too low, I think my little personal theory is that, and I think this is somewhat verified by, well, some trainers believe this as well, that guts affects how much stamina you use, basically. So the rate at which you use your stamina is affected by guts. If that's the case, if your guts is only at 150, even if you have, say, 900 stamina, that stamina is going to run out before someone else does, because all girls during the final spurt will use as much stamina as possible. And then wits helps out as well, manage stamina, but again, if we're looking at the effect of guts, I think guts plays a big factor as well. But again, I could be wrong. Again, this is all speculation while we're kind of waiting for the hot spring event here. So, how many times I think I clocked only once, right? That's actually pretty amazing considering how low our stats actually were, in my opinion. Can I check, by the way? I can, so yeah. My power is up higher, but that's because of us winning, so that's not really... that doesn't mean as much. But maybe 400 guts helped out over having 350. At least for the URA scenario, or the URA Finals race, in my opinion, at least. A difference of 50 stats can make a difference. So as we actually get to the hot spring event, I should actually timestamp this, if for no other reason, but... let's... what? Gold ship? Yeah, 400... I personally would like at least 400 guts and wits before having every other stat at 600. That's my personal gold ship threshold. And it's specifically, well, not just gold ship, but a lot of girls share that distribution requirement for URA Finals to win, at least a possibility at winning. Obviously, you want it higher. If I were to give someone advice, if you can shoot for it, do 700 instead. 700 speed, 700 stamina, 700 power, then 400 guts, 500 wits. But in my case, I can only hit 600. I can only get 100 less than all of that. Otherwise, if you had the stats that I just said, 700 into 300, 400, then I think you have, say, if I were to say a number, a 75%, 85% chance to win URA Finals without needing to clock. With clocks, it's probably a lot, like 98, 99%, but you get the point. With higher stats, if for no other reason, then you outstat your rivals. That's where I keep saying speculating, but that's where I'm getting the idea from, of this stat requirement, for gold ship at least. Obviously, we'll use an extreme example here as well, to kind of steel man the argument. Is Sakura Bakshino, you can just build speed, she only needs 250 stamina, barely any power, if any that, and your power will be increasing as you do speed training anyway, so that'll exist. But, optimally, you want power to be just as high as speed. If not tied at the cap, because power does affect your acceleration as well. So, which apparently matters just as much in a sprint race, and I wouldn't deny that, because and for those who don't know, might not know the reason why, at least in terms of, again, speculation or opinions, is that for short races, the extra acceleration you have matters a lot more, because you're covering less distance, if that makes any sense. Whereas in a longer race, while the acceleration is important as well, especially during the final spurt, you have a longer distance to reach your max speed, and so therefore having less power isn't as harmful, even though you need it during a long race, especially if you're running end or late strats. So I'm shrugging in real life as I say, again, the asterisk here is it's all speculation. But the last thing to say about guts, if nothing else, as Gold Ship looks at all the soup and food for us, is that, yeah, I wouldn't deny that a Stamina Guts SSR-filled support card deck works out. The reason for that is that, well, the Stamina is just for Stamina, but the Guts hits speed and power anyway, And I can see that helping you a lot for at least getting to URA Finals, because if you do a big, powerful Friendship Guts training with the Haru Urara Guaranteed card, and I think there's one more Guts card available in general from the Scouts, then your Guts will increase by a lot, but also your speed and power will increase by a moderately okay amount. But if you're not uncapped on Haru Urara or any other SSR Guts cards, it can be a bit more wonky. But again, it's been a while. I think I obviously don't have the Guts card here in Global. In JP, though, it actually worked quite well for me. But obviously, outside of the URA scenario, it was a bit iffy because obviously I wouldn't have the speed and stamina and power. Or I didn't have the speed, stamina, and power. And again, you would have to supplement stamina with, obviously, Super Creek or something, but thankfully you have the free Meijino McQueen and Rice Shower cards, if for no other reason than Friendship Training for stamina. And then you pair off Guts SSR cards along with it to get Guts. So look at how happy she is. But, yeah, without further ado, not really much to say here. The Guts thing, again, I could just be completely wrong. There's a chance I am, but I wouldn't say it's a very high chance, because, again, a lot of what I'm pulling, a part of what I've pulled my speculations from is also drawn from what other trainers, guides, sources have stated, both in English and Japanese primarily. But then I've also looked at, the Chinese and the other Asian servers as well, which I think does a lot to give us information, because there's been some digging here and there as well, but I couldn't really, obviously I only know Japanese and English to some extent. Well, English is my main language, and then I've learned Japanese educational-wise. Hey, for those who don't know that about me, you know. But that's primarily where I've gotten my information from. And if nothing else, it's taken me a long time to translate Japanese videos, text from the Japanese community, so on and so forth. That's where I'm pulling all of these from. But again, at this point in Global Server, I am still trying to just get back that information, because I've only really heavily looked up Uma Musume information during my time in JP, where here in Global Server, I need to get back into looking at things. And funny enough, a lot of the old sources from back in 2021, March 2021, April, May, and May as well, 2021, still applies here. But as for what happens afterward, I'm pretty much going to be relying on word of mouth to some extent, but also my own observations, which is going to hurt me in the long run, because that means I'm training less efficiently as I'm doing experiments here and there, just to see if anything changes at least. I think there's still merit in doing that, because what loot? But I think there's some merit in testing things on our own, because, well, you never know if there are still changes really. But but also just seeing things for yourself and finding your own way, especially for a free-to-play in which you may not have every card. Again, if you have the resources and or are whaling, you should be able to essentially work on the unified method. I've seen the Suzuka slideshow strats, so, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's literally a dedicated slideshow for training. I almost said raising. That's why I combined the words. Training Silent Suzuka and what to expect. So for those who like Silent Suzuka or are planning to train it and want more information, that exists out there somewhere. I think you can just literally look up Silent Suzuka guide on a search engine and find it, but you'll know because it's a slideshow available, I think, just online publicly. But if you look through that, you'll also get an idea, if for no one else, then, or if not just Silent Suzuka, then other girls, as to the kind of schedule that we expect if you want to foresee the future. If you want to immerse yourself and play Uma Musume as it happens, as new content comes out, feel free to not look at anything, but I'm just putting that out there. You will put yourself at a disadvantage because others will have the advantage of knowing what is coming specifically. Like, I completely forgot how good Summer Maruzensky is, for one. But also, that's one of the sources of where I saw the Haru Urara Guts card being showcased as like, hey, really friendly free-to-play option. Which, again, I worked with JP, but I didn't know if it stayed good. But with the Guts reworked, that it will be, or not reworked, I want to say it more like it's an Guts mechanics introduced with new events as kind of a basically new content, but you can also call it a rework. I won't try to vocab anyone there. So as we finish off this gold chip, I think that's pretty much the end of that, because this is always the same if you get gold chips good ending, and we have a lot of gold chip good endings, so you'll see the number of fans I have in gold chip. I need 10 million to get the title, but we'll take a skill here, why not? Probably just gonna take the gold skill, all things considered. So, yeah, these other skills are okay as well, but if I want to go just crazy, I should just take a gold skill here for things. I'll even go underdog, and that's all we can take. So, without further ado, I know I yapped on during Gold Chips events there, but I can enjoy it with a mute, even though my voice will now be over to Gold Chips' voice, because I do not split my audio usually. So, yeah, we'll do what I can. I don't think that's an A. Yeah, it should be nowhere near A+. A+, or A, the A rank usually requires a bit more. More would have been great, but these also help out as well. I don't know if people count the white stars when they count the total stars of a girl. I assume they do, because then you would only be able to hit 6 stars. But really, you want 3-star stat and 3-star into the aptitude, and then some races afterward. Out of curiosity, just for no one else than myself. So, Tenno Show Spring Spark gives you stamina, and then obviously the skill hit, but the stats are what you want as well. That is something else. Arima Kinen gives you guts. Kikuka Show gives you stamina. So, yeah, just things to note. I was gonna ask something different, but I think it's okay here, and we're just gonna make sure. Does it? Yeah, it auto defaults you your, what do you call these? Epithet to the hot spring one. It better, because that's the chance of that happening is rare, assuming that you don't pull the op. Yeah, so we only have. Is that total fans? Or is that total fans for Gold Chip? Either way, I'm a ways off, so I need at least, assuming I keep getting around 300,000 fans, or 250,000 fans per, definitely need 30 to 40 more runs of Gold Chip, which I maybe end up doing as my Batsu. But, yeah, without further ado, again, if I go radio silent for about a few days, this should be one of the few prepared videos for Musume anyway. But yeah, without further ado, this should be, I'm reaching my current amount for the Kita-san Black banner, and I should be able to hit it. Definitely with the another week. I should be able to promote again in my team trial. So yeah, without further ado, we're here at the end screen. So if you have anything to say, if you want to say something, if you want to correct me somewhere, if you have any questions or criticisms or just comments in general, feel free to leave them. I won't always respond, because sometimes I'll just tilt my head and go, I have nothing to add. Or maybe it's someone malicious, or maybe it's someone who says something really good, and I'm like, okay, yeah, there's no reason to glaze myself over to use the word. So yeah, without further ado, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye! Goreshi!